What if the man you loved more than life itself walked out the door just days before you were supposed to say I do? What if those glittering Manhattan nights held secrets so dark they could unravel everything you thought you knew about him? What if the price of those secrets was a love so profound it forced both of you to confront who you really were? The morning light filtered through the floor-to-ceiling windows of our Soho apartment, casting long shadows across the hardwood floors. Ezekiel Thompson stood frozen, staring at the empty space where Vincent's suitcase had been just minutes ago. "I can't do this, Zeke, I'm sorry," he had said, his voice cracking as he walked out the door without looking back. Our wedding was in 3 days. 3 days. The invitations were sent, the venue booked at a chic rooftop in Midtown, and the rings sat on the kitchen counter mocking me with their quiet shine. I sank onto the leather couch, my hands trembling. The coffee I had poured for him grew cold beside me. Vincent Hargrove, the man who had made me believe in forever, was gone, and I had no idea why. We had met 5 years earlier at a crowded bar in Chelsea during a rainy autumn night. I was an architect fresh off a big project designing sustainable lofts for young professionals in Brooklyn. He was a journalist chasing stories for a downtown magazine, his notebook always open, his laugh easy and warm. That first conversation stretched into hours, talking about everything from city politics to the quiet fear of never feeling fully seen. By the time the bar closed, we had exchanged numbers, and I knew my life had shifted. Vincent was the kind of guy who noticed details, the way sunlight hit a building or how I took my coffee with just a touch of cinnamon. Over the next months, we built something real: dinners in hidden West Village spots, long walks along the High Line, weekends escaping to the Hamptons where we could hold hands without glancing over our shoulders. He introduced me to his circle of friends, all of them gay men navigating the same world, and I brought him into mine, colleagues who celebrated our love openly. When he proposed on a bench in Central Park 2 years ago with the skyline behind us, I said yes, without hesitation. We chose a small, intimate ceremony with close friends and planned to tell his family in Texas closer to the date. Now that date loomed, and he had vanished. I picked up my phone, dialing his number for the 10th time, only to hear the voicemail message we had recorded together last month. "Hey, it's Vincent and Ezekiel. Leave us a message." The sound of our voices together twisted something deep in my chest. By evening, I had called every mutual friend. No one had seen him. His editor said he had taken a sudden personal leave. I paced the apartment, replaying our last conversation, the one where he seemed distant, yet insisted everything was fine. Outside, the city hummed on indifferent taxis, honking pedestrians laughing under streetlights. Manhattan nights had always felt like hours, but now they stretched empty. I finally collapsed into bed, still wearing the shirt he had ironed for me that morning. Sleep came in fragments, haunted by the image of his back as he walked away. When dawn broke, I knew I had to move. I couldn't just wait. The wedding planner texted asking for final guest counts, and I stared at the screen, unsure how to answer. This was supposed to be our beginning, not our end. Little did I know the secrets Vincent carried ran deeper than I could imagine, and the nights ahead would force us both to face truths we had buried for far too long. By midday, the apartment felt too quiet. I canceled my afternoon meeting at the firm and headed downtown, hoping movement would quiet the storm in my head. The subway rattled beneath the streets, carrying me to the village where Vincent and I had spent countless evenings. I walked past our favorite cafe, the one with the mismatched chairs, and the barista who knew our order by heart. No sign of him. My phone buzzed with a call from his sister Rachel. She was flying in from Austin tomorrow for the wedding. "Zeke, have you heard from Vin? Mom and Dad are so excited they keep asking about the venue." Her voice was bright, full of assumptions I couldn't correct. I lied, telling her he was out running errands. The weight of that lie pressed on me like the humid summer air outside. Vincent had never come out to his conservative family back in Texas. He had told them I was his roommate, a convenient story that let us avoid the hard conversations. Now, with the wedding days away, the deception was collapsing. I returned home to find a note slipped under the door from our doorman. "Mr. Hargrove left this for you last night." Inside was a single key to a storage unit in Chelsea and a scribbled line, "Don't look yet. I need time." That night, I couldn't stay still. I grabbed the key and took the train uptown. The storage unit was small and dimly lit, rows of metal doors under fluorescent lights. Inside, I found boxes of Vincent's old journals, clippings from his early articles, and a folder labeled Family. My hands shook as I opened it. Letters from his father urging him to settle down with a good woman emails from his mother about church events. One page had Vincent's handwriting in the margin. How do I tell them the truth without losing them? The realization hit hard. He had been carrying this alone. Back home, I sat on the floor surrounded by the evidence of his hidden struggle. Friends started calling. Marcus, our best man, offered to come over, but I told him I needed space. The truth was I was angry, hurt, and terrified. Vincent wasn't just running from the wedding, he was running from a lifetime of pretending. When Rachel called again, the next morning panic rose in my throat. The flight lands at noon, can you pick us up? Vince said he'd meet us at the hotel. I agreed, knowing I would have to face them without him. The city outside my window pulsed with life, while inside my world fractured. I wondered if love could survive secrets this big, or if the price would be everything we had built. The hotel lobby in Midtown buzzed with tourists and business travelers. I stood near the entrance watching Rachel and their parents emerge from the elevator, their faces lighting up when they saw me. Ezekiel, where's Vin? His mother asked, hugging me tightly. I forced a smile, mumbling something about a last-minute story deadline. They bought it for now, but the questions kept coming over lunch at a nearby bistro. He's always been so private about his work, his father said, clapping my shoulder. But marriage changes things, right? I nodded, swallowing the bile rising in my throat. Later, alone in the hotel hallway, I finally reached Vincent. His voice on the phone was exhausted. Zeke, I'm at a place on the Lower East Side. Meet me at the cafe on Ludlow in an hour. I raced there, heart pounding. He sat at a corner table, eyes red-rimmed. I panicked, he said quietly. My family showing up made everything real, and I couldn't breathe. I thought if I stepped back I could figure it out. We talked for hours, the cafe emptying around us. He admitted the pressure from home, the fear of losing their love, the nights he had spent walking Manhattan streets alone, questioning if he deserved the life we planned. I reached for his hand, but he pulled away. I need a few more days. Please don't tell them yet. That night, I wandered the streets myself, passing the glowing signs of bars we once loved. A misunderstanding waited around the corner. I spotted him later through a window, talking intently with an older man I didn't recognize. My mind raced to the worst conclusions, betrayal, jealousy flooding in. Was this the secret life the nights he disappeared into? I turned away before he saw me, my chest tight with doubt. Back home, I stared at the ceiling, replaying every moment, wondering how two people who had shared everything could suddenly feel like strangers. The city lights flickered outside, promising answers, but delivering only more questions. Vincent's absence stretched into the second day. I threw myself into work sketching designs for a new project in Brooklyn, but every line reminded me of him. Marcus finally showed up at my door with takeout and a six-pack. Talk to me, man. This isn't like him. Over cold beer, I spilled the details, the journals, the family pressure, the cafe meeting. Marcus listened, eyes wide. He's been living two lives, Zeke. You have to give him space, but don't let him vanish completely. His words echoed as I walked him out into the humid night. Meanwhile, Vincent had checked into a small hotel near Union Square. From the snippets he texted me, I pieced together his side. He had spent the nights pacing the streets, stopping at late-night diners, writing unsent letters to his parents. The older man I had glimpsed was a therapist recommended by a colleague, someone helping him untangle years of shame. I love you, Zeke, one message read, but I hate the version of me I've shown my family. I need to fix that before I can stand beside you. On the third day, his parents grew suspicious. Rachel cornered me in the hotel lobby. He's not answering my calls. Is something wrong? I hesitated, then told her the truth in fragments. He's struggling with some personal stuff, but he's safe. Her face crumpled. That evening, Vincent agreed to meet the family at a quiet Italian restaurant in the East Village. The dinner started civil, but tension crackled when his father asked about future plans, children, a traditional life. Vincent's hands shook under the table. Dad, I'm not the son you think I am, he said, finally, voice steady. The table fell silent. I watched the shock ripple across their faces, the misunderstanding blooming into open pain. Vincent stood and left the restaurant, tears in his eyes. I followed him into the night air, grasping his arm. You don't have to do this alone. He looked at me, broken yet determined. I think I do for now. The secret was out, but the cost was already mounting. The fallout came fast. Vincent's parents returned to their hotel in stunned silence. Rachel called me at midnight crying he's gay. All this time, I stayed up talking her through it, explaining the fear, the love, the courage it took for him to finally speak. By morning, Vincent texted me from a bench in Washington Square Park. They want to talk. Will you come? I met them all there, the park alive with students and street performers. His father spoke first, voice rough. We raised you in the church, son. This isn't what we expected. Vincent stood tall. I know, Dad. But this is who I am. Ezekiel isn't just a roommate. He's the man I want to marry. The conversation stretched for hours, accusations, misunderstandings, tears. His mother admitted she had suspected but stayed silent out of fear. Sacrifices unfolded. Vincent offered to pause the wedding, give them time to process. I watched him choose honesty over comfort, knowing it might cost him their approval. That night we walked the Brooklyn Bridge hand in hand for the first time in days. I became a secret to protect everyone, he said softly, but secrets only destroy. We talked about our growth, the nights he spent questioning his identity, the mornings I woke up wondering if love was enough. A misunderstanding cleared. He explained the older man was indeed only a therapist, nothing more. Relief washed over me, yet the pain lingered. The city felt different now, raw and honest. We canceled the rooftop venue, quietly told friends the truth. Family pressure mounted with calls from Texas relatives, but Vincent held firm. I'm done hiding, he told me on the ferry back from Staten Island, wind whipping around us. The climax built as his father showed up unannounced at our apartment the next evening, demanding answers. Vincent faced him head-on, explaining years of silent struggle. I love you both, but I love Zeke too. I can't choose. The door closed on a heavy silence, but something had shifted. We stood together, stronger, forged in the fire of truth. Weeks blurred after the confrontation. The original wedding date passed quietly, replaced by long talks and slow rebuilding. Vincent's family returned to Texas with promises to try understanding. Rachel became our biggest supporter, texting daily, checking in. I watched Vincent grow into himself, no longer the man who vanished into Manhattan nights, but one who walked them openly beside me. We took a small trip upstate to a cabin where we could breathe away from the city's noise. There, under starlit skies, he proposed again, this time with no secrets. I choose us every day from now on, he said, slipping the ring back on my finger. Back in New York, we rebuilt slowly. I redesigned our living space, adding shelves for his journals, now openly displayed. He wrote a piece for his magazine about identity and love in the city, the byline bold and honest. Friends gathered for a quiet commitment ceremony in our apartment, no grand venue, just love and truth. The price had been high, sleepless nights, broken trust, family rifts, but the awakening was worth it. We both emerged clearer, stronger men who loved men, unafraid of the world's gaze. Manhattan still glittered, but now its nights held our shared story, not hidden shadows. As months passed, his parents sent a tentative card wishing us well. Small steps, but steps forward. I stood on our rooftop one evening, Vincent's arm around me, watching the skyline. We paid the price, I whispered, but we kept the love. He smiled, the same warm smile that had started it all. The journey had changed us both, teaching that real strength comes from facing the mirror and choosing honesty no matter the cost. In the end, this journey taught me that love isn't about perfection or hiding in the shadows of Manhattan nights. The real lesson is simple, yet profound. Never let fear turn your truth into a secret, because the price you pay may be the very connection you cherish most. Ezekiel and Vincent's story reminds us all to speak openly, embrace our identities, and stand together when the world pushes back. Growth hurts, but it also sets you free. Choose courage every single day.